Hi, and welcome to what is going to be the first in a series of videos whereby I'm going to introduce you to each feature in the Dibs app and exactly how it works. Before we do that, however, I want to point out a couple of things on the website. Firstly is the FAQ, where you can, where there are any questions answered. If you have a question that's not in there, please put it into the contact form up here. Also, if you have any feature requests or any questions at all, please use this form. And then the last thing I want to point out is down at the bottom a link to the privacy policy, which is very important to keep in mind because potentially we are going to be storing some really sensitive information on this website, and there's some very strict legislation around that. The very first step we're going to need to take is to set up our accounts. So when you sign up, you will have received an email that looks like this. Simply click on Accept Invitation and then type in a password. And you will now be logged in. And so to start, we're going to see we have our page. There's no clients listed here because we haven't created any yet. So let's create a new client by clicking the Create a New Client button. So firstly, we have the individual's name. I'm going to call this individual or this client Johnny Tutorial. You can put a pseudonym in there if you like. These questions should all make sense. Firstly, does the client live in Australia? Something to note that at the moment, at least, the client must live in Australia. This Dibs is not currently taking clients who do not live in Australia. So if this is not completed, you cannot use this service at this time. Next, for time zone purposes, we need to answer what state the individual lives in, and Johnny, our friend, lives in Western Australia. Now, next we need to tell what is our relationship to this client. The person who is filling in this form right now, who am I to Johnny? There's a number of options here. I could either be Johnny himself, and by so doing, I agree that I have capacity to consent to the collection of the information, and I do consent. I am not Johnny Tutorial, I am Eddie Drury, so I could click on this next option, which is that I am the client's legal guardian. And what I'm going to be agreeing to here has changed now that I have clicked this. But the third and final option is you are a third party, not the individual, not the guardian, a third party such as a PBS practitioner, but you have written consent to collect the client's sensitive information on this page. This is really super important. As I say, we are going to be collecting sensitive information, and so it is absolutely critical that we have express consent to do so. And our last question here is there any information you would prefer not to be collected on this website? This gives us the user or the whoever it is an opportunity to opt out to say information they do not want collected. So let's say I've had this conversation with Johnny, and Johnny is a smoker. Johnny is concerned that this system is going to be used to track how much he smokes and when he smokes and things like this, and he's not about that. He wants us to butt the hell out of his cigarettes, please. So I'm going to say here, do not capture any information regarding Johnny's smoking habits. Fantastic. And now that I've done that, I can click Save. And just to quickly show you how that last question is going to be displayed, if we were to create a new form right now, you would see that every time we create or edit a form, what we wrote in that do not capture this information is going to be displayed here. So it's really super clear the information that should not be captured. And the last thing we should review is how we can edit Johnny's details. Just by clicking on edit, we can change the name, the residency, the time zone, and also down here we can delete Johnny. But as this message says, this will be permanent, and all of the information regarding Johnny that is captured will be gone, deleted forever. So we want to be very cautious using this.